Hey, welcome along to Top Shelf Tech. Today we're kickstarting our Disruptive technology series where we've handpicked companies from around the world that we think are going to shake up technology as we know it today and be disruptors in their field. So today I have joining me Jonathan Martin and Shimon Ben David from WekaIO. Welcome along, guys.
Hey, thanks, Jeremy. Great to be here.
Maybe we just want to start with letting us know where in the world you're joining us from.
Yep, so maybe I can jump in. So it's Jonathan coming to you all the way from sunny Los Angeles. It's obviously not New Zealand, but you know it's not too bad here either. I'm a huge New Zealand fan. So yeah, actually very new to Weka. Technically only my third week. But previously was the general manager for storage software at HP, and then was the CMO for EMC, Pure Storage, and Hitachi before this.
Awesome, thanks, Jonathan.
Great,
Shimon.
and I'm actually connecting from the Bay Area, the San Francisco Bay Area, Sunnyvale, California. I'm actually living here right next to our US headquarters office. I'm actually in Weka. I'm the CTO. I'm actually in Weka for the last 7 years. Actually moved to the Bay Area 6 years ago to open our US office. Went around a lot of other storage companies in the past, XtremeIO, which actually was sold to EMC, and then before that with the same founding team of Weka at XAV, and we sold that to IBM. That was a really nice appliance as well.
Awesome. So you both got some pretty impressive credentials there, which probably brings us around to the to WekaIO, and storage is maybe not always one of the things that people talk about as disruptive technology, but Weka has a pretty interesting story. So did you want to just fill us in a bit on where Weka's come from and what problems you guys are looking to solve?
Yeah, so maybe I can jump in, and Shimon, you can help out along the way. So we've been around for kind of six or 7 years at this point, and the market that we're in, as you said, it's not, for at least the last 10, 12 years, not really been the sexiest market. Creating these big tin buckets to store your information, only so. And so I think there's a lot of analogies with the automobile over the last 20 years or so, where you could buy a car 20 years ago and it came with a combustion engine and steel radial tires and a turbocharger and all those sort of things, and you roll the clock forward 20 years and they still come with turbochargers and drink dinosaur juice, and they're cooler and they go faster and they're a bit more powerful, but there's not fundamentally anything different. And then Tesla came along and really turned the industry on its head by picking a small but very, very particular vertical. So this was, if you think back to the first car, the Tesla Roadster, high performance car, targeted at people that really cared about the planet and driving with electric vehicles, and they transformed that industry by throwing away a lot of what had come before, and instead doubling down on electric motors and batteries and software and AI, and that I think is what we're doing with Weka. Is we're taking a very, very different approach. The last 20 years has really been dominated by the hardware companies that Shimon and I have talked about. Weka is it's a software-based company. We develop all our products in the cloud, but they can also be used in your data center as well. And we pick a particular set of workloads, and those workloads are maybe not the workloads of the past, although we can provide significant value to those, but it's really the workloads of today and tomorrow. So things like artificial intelligence, things like machine learning. And I think, this is obviously a very, very trendy, cool topic. You talk to any enterprise the last 5 years, they've been trying to take concepts from high performance computing, scientific computing, and bring them into the enterprise, typically in the form of some artificial intelligence project. And let's face it, most of these projects the last 5 years have been kind of kitchen sink exercises. They've been passion projects in organizations. But a lot of organizations, particularly organizations that are looking to transform industries, or organizations that are looking to transform themselves, are looking about how do they do artificial intelligence at scale. And when they make that step, they suddenly find kind of two things. One is the amount of information that they're trying to process. It isn't, like in the traditional data center, it's probably doubling every 18 months. The amount of information that they're creating on these new platforms is going up by an order of magnitude, or maybe even 2 orders of magnitude every year. So massive, petascale and exascale workloads. And then the second thing is that they need the ability to be able to process all of that information, again, an order of magnitude or more faster than they've been able to historically do. So I'm going to pause there, and Shimon, I'll hand over to you, and maybe you can talk a little bit about kind of how customers are bringing those concepts to life.
Great, definitely. Thank you, Jonathan. So what we're seeing is actually, as Jonathan mentioned, we're targeting use cases where we can really provide value to customers. So financial environments, life science environments, AI, ML environments, where the common thing about them is that they need to process massive amounts of data, and there's a value for processing that data in a fast and efficient way. So environments that are going on-prem and on cloud, there's all of that discussion of where should the data reside? Do I have any data gravity? So WekaIO is designed to solve all of these environments, all of these issues, and actually allow customers to gain insights from their data in a fast and efficient way. So I'll give some customer use cases that I think we showed a lot of value. Some customers in the life science environment, for example, that were handling petabytes of data using regular NAS appliances. They had challenge in terms of scaling in capacity. So they had several petabytes on a NAS appliance, and it couldn't even grow anymore. They needed to scale it to double-digit petabytes and to triple-digit petabytes. They had issues with the performance of that appliance and also managing that appliance. So with WekaIO, what we did is we actually came in and we solved their scaling problem. So we placed a system over there that can actually scale to the petabytes. It actually already is double-digit petabytes. It scaled in terms of performance, and it actually even scaled between data centers. So with WekaIO, we wanted to change the paradigm that you need multiple different storage appliances to manage your entire pipeline. And that's actually what we did. So another example, we went to another customer, and that customer had, this is an IoT environment that initially ingest data, transform the data, and then train and inference on that data. It's kind of like an endless cycle. And what we saw is that customer is actually using multiple different storage appliances simply because each different appliance use the different connectivity protocol, SMB, S3, NFS, and because of the cost associated with that appliance. And they constantly kept copying the data between their different environments to accommodate for their needs, for their DR needs, for their performance needs, for their long-term archival needs. And what we actually showed is by placing a Weka system that could be connected to all of these environments in all of the protocols, you don't need these limited data silos. You can actually eliminate the silos and actually place everything on a single Weka system that can communicate using all of these protocols, and that can actually provide the performance and scale that is needed for all of these pipeline steps. Additionally, one thing that is very unique about the Weka system is its ability to move data between environments. So if a customer has multiple data centers, or if a customer, as Jonathan mentioned, a lot of customers are going to the cloud nowadays, so they have some sort of cloud strategy. So Weka is actually able to run on multiple data centers. It's able to run on the cloud, and it's able to mobilize the data between the different environments. So now customers that are challenged with trying to copy the data and backup and DR between different environments using different utilities don't need to do that anymore, because the Weka environment is actually doing the data mobility for them. And I think I'll finish with another piece of information. When we designed Weka, we wanted to create the best storage of all breeds. So we wanted to create a storage environments where that would break the paradigm that storage is very, and I'm going to be a bit technical here, is very throughput oriented. So usually we see storage appliances that are handling massive amounts of large files. That's great, and there's many use cases for that, but we wanted to create a storage environment that would also be able to accommodate for massive amounts of metadata or massive amounts of smaller files. Because if we look at a pipeline, at an AI ML pipeline, at a life science pipeline, what we see is that during the pipeline, the data actually transforms multiple times and different applications are running on top of it. And each of them has their unique I/O requirements. So some are requiring throughput, some are requiring IOPS and latency. And we designed Weka to actually accommodate for all of these different I/O requirements. And Weka is actually very unique in its ability to accommodate all of these I/O patterns on the same data sets.
Cool. And I think, just so what I'm hearing is Weka actually enables businesses, if they're looking at, from an R&D perspective, they're looking at how they can run data pipelines to actually accelerate their development using data. So that could be through AI and ML modeling, whereas with other technology, maybe actually the latency or the storage held back their ability to process data and make good business decisions. And therefore, what you're trying to do is really accelerate a paradigm with these businesses where they can do what they need to do as part of their overall business life cycle a lot quicker and a lot more simpler when it involves large amounts of data and high performance compute workloads.
Yeah. Exactly. Eventually, it's all about gaining insights from the data. So you're acquiring massive amounts of data. And the question is, how fast can you gain insights from it? I'll give another example. At an autonomous car company, we're able to get to them 20 times faster than their current environment. So just by placing Weka and working and eliminating these data silos, the data movement, and obviously benefiting from the Weka performance, they were able to do 20 times more work at the same amount of time. So eventually, that's the value.
And yeah, 20 times is a massive leap really for a business like that. And I think probably from some of my background playing with storage and playing with scale out storage systems, often the other piece that's missed is there's a lot of cost there. So if you're running with a proprietary system, it's very expensive to scale them out. Or if you're running with an open source system, and in the past for cluster file systems that could have been OCFS2 or GFS, there's a huge amount of complexity. It's a very, very challenging environments to scale out and to manage. So so what I'm hearing as well is you've got very very good deployment options. So having a look at what you're doing on AWS, there's the ability to deploy virtually from the marketplace and very quickly get up and running with WekaIO. Is that something that you see as a major point of difference and competitive advantage in your business as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the last 20 years in storage has been defined by really just a bunch of compromises, and the compromises, do I want speed? Then I need to go with a block device. Lots of great block devices out there. Do I want scale? Then I need to go with object. Or do I want simplicity? I need file system semantics, shareability, etc., etc. Or more recently, the compromises has been: do I run on-prem or do I run in the cloud? So when you look at the storage market overall, it's been a set of compromises. Most people today, it's like, do you want speed? Yes. Do I want simplicity? Yes. Do I want scale? Yes. I want to be able to run this on-prem or in the cloud? Same product? Yes. Like, why would you not want all of those things? So I think that's really one of the big differentiators here, is that the compromises of the last 20 years and those forced choices that IT organizations have been made to take, we can kind of throw out the window with this solution, which is I think why more and more companies are beginning to adopt this technology. I think initially in AI and machine learning environments, but I think once they kind of taste it, take a bite of the purple, they see the speed, simplicity, and scale benefits of the solution. They're then beginning to apply them to general purpose tier 1 workloads as well.
Awesome. Now, the Kiwis watching probably know the name Weka, and I understand that you've your mascot's a small flightless bird, but actually,
small flightless bird, yeah.
there's a bit of a hint in the name about what you guys are about, isn't there?
Yeah, Shimon, you can probably count the zeros better than I can.
Yeah, it's 10 to the power of 30, actually.
Yeah. So you probably heard of, like, gigabytes and terabytes and petabytes and exabytes and yottabytes and zettabytes. I think that's the right way around. I don't know. But somewhere up there, 10 to the power 30 is a Weka. It's very large.
Yeah.
So
No, that's awesome.
only one step away from a wonkabyte.
Oh, very good. Hey, look, guys, thanks a lot for joining us today to give us a bit of a rundown on Weka. Just before we leave you to it, was there anything else that you thought you wanted to add today? Anything else that I think the audience would be interested in terms of Weka and where you guys are going?
No, I think that's great. Great to have the opportunity to introduce the company to everyone. We do have a presence in New Zealand, so we have Joe Hassel, who's down with the team there. So if anybody is interested in learning more, then please do reach out to Joe Hassel at WekaIO.
Awesome. Hey, look, thanks a lot for joining us. Our first disruptive tech session on Top Shelf Tech. So been great to have you guys along, and I'll certainly be watching the company over the next couple of years and looking forward to seeing what you guys achieve.
Awesome. Thanks for the opportunity, Jeremy. Talk to you soon.
Nice to meet you both. Thank you.
Thank you.